Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bowhunt or Die. I was lucky enough to have last week off. Tommy filled in for me in my shoes. How did he do? Did he do a good job? I haven't had a chance to watch that episode yet.
No, you don't even watch our
I
own
have
show.
not seen that episode yet.
I know you've been really busy hunting lately, so you haven't had.
yeah.
Tommy did a wonderful job as always. We had a great show last week, and we have another great show this week. But it's nice to have you back. You talk a little bit more than Tommy. He's a little reserved.
Well, that's Tommy. Unless you get him when he's in the tree stand, then he's like a textaholic.
Well, he texts a lot. He just doesn't talk a lot.
Good point. Good point. Well, with that being said, I had a great time in Colorado. Let's save the details here for the show.
Yep.
Justin, we have anything else that we're going to talk about before we dive into my Colorado Elk experience?
Man, it's kind of been a slow start to October. It's been hot. It's just been really, really hot. You know, thankfully we got a cool front coming here. Hopefully
I don't agree. I'm not going to agree with Justin, but that's
okay.
Not
well, have you
abnormal.
killed anything?
I've not killed anything, but I've had 3 sits and I have seen 6 bucks.
Anything worth shooting?
No.
Well, then it's been
But
a
I
slow
do know
start
people that
to
have been
October.
seeing some big ones on their feet. So just because I'm not doesn't mean that other people are. So
yeah, well,
I prefer
the
to
people
take.
you know aren't normal people.
Oh, they're not
pieces of property.
All right,
like the rest of us.
Let's move forward here.
All right, guys, let's get into Todd's elk hunt right now.
It's never good when you're on your way to Colorado and we've only gone 15 miles and we need fuel already. I should have filled up before we left home, but here we go, man. I mean, we are packed, ready, loaded. Gear is in the camper. Jamie's in there. I got Mike Fitzgerald behind me here, who is going to be my cameraman for this whole adventure. So 15 hours from now, we'll be in Colorado. By Friday, hopefully we'll be getting our licenses signed, and Saturday morning we're going to be in that country looking for elk. You're in the world's largest truck stop. I mean, look at this place. I mean, if you're a trucker, this is the place to be. This shifter's a little out of control. Good morning, here we are, our second day of driving. Stayed in Vail last night, Colorado. What a beautiful place. We're definitely getting, at least I know I'm getting significantly more excited. Jamie, you ready to go?
Oh man, I'm pumped, especially after we saw those elk.
Yeah, well,
on the road.
we come out of Denver and our videographer is supposed to be getting everything captured. Well, here is like 15 elk with a huge bull off to the side of the road. And we're like, oh my gosh, take a look at this. And here,
I ain't looking.
I'm not looking. Here's our video. I'm not looking. You guys are pulling my chain.
No,
Anyhow,
I'm not looking.
cut a long story short, we've seen some elk. We're 2 hours away from meeting our outfitter. Doyle's been a good friend of mine for at least 15 plus years now. Been doing his website, so we're excited to hook up with him, get our licenses taken care of, start getting the gear all spread out ready for tomorrow morning, which will be our first official day in the mountains chasing these bugling elk. So with that being said, guys, Bowhunt or Die. We are here in Colorado, ready to rock and roll. As always, you gotta let a few arrows fly to make sure you're perfectly in tune, but I'll tell you what, it's been crazy. I mean, literally there's been about a 30-degree temperature change here, what they've been telling us. Actually, there's some flights that are tied up, can't get here in time. Actually, there were some flurries in the air, so we figure we better hurry up before this weather gets any worse and get a few arrows flung out here, so we're ready for tomorrow morning, because it's elk time. really nice vantage point here, overlooking this beautiful drainage. We've got one off to the right, and we got two down below, but the wind is just not perfect yet. So we're just gonna hang up here before we drop down. We don't want to drop down on them too early. So, I mean, weather is in our favor this year. I mean, literally, temperature has dropped 30 degrees. The leaves are changing. The aspens are beautiful. The oaks are beautiful. And this place is just, it's stunning. It's pretty cool to see the claw marks from the bears in here. Doyle was just telling us, like, this one tree that's totally torn up. A lot of times a sow will teach her cubs on a tree like this where it's just worn out. I mean, it's pretty amazing. It's going to be pretty tough here, guys, because I don't have a lot of good shots, a lot of brush in the way. We got one that actually just made a shift. We just hurry up and got around this backside here. This one, the bull either circled around us or it's a different one coming over. I feel like I should be in a National Geographic magazine right now. We could not get a better looking day. Been here for 10 minutes now. He was close for a second, but we're not sure what happened. Yeah, I don't even hear him in We've had a great morning. We've had snow, got great wind conditions, but this front's come in here and the wind is just so dicey right now. So we know there's some good ones up in this area. So we're just gonna actually slip down the mountain for a while, take a break, regroup, wait for this front to kind of get out of here and come back up in here, because we know they're here, but with this wind that keeps going up, down, side to side, I mean, it's just not gonna work for us until until this front moves out of here a little bit. So we're gonna regroup. Until then, bow hunt or die. Good morning from Colorado. Day 2, guys. We just slipped into a new spot. Beautiful morning. That rain and snow moved out of here. We've got about 32 degrees. We can see our breath. We can hear some bulls already on the other side of this canyon, so we're gonna slip on over. A lot more walking today, so let's see what happens. Come on. We got a bull right up and over this hill here. The game of cat and mouse. All right, guys, we're gonna move on. Man, that bull was in close. I couldn't believe when that cow pushed my bow. It was unbelievable. Unfortunately, the bull kept moving this way, so we're gonna keep on moving, see if we can catch up with them. Hey guys, that was an incredible morning here in Colorado. Man, I cannot believe that cow elk was literally pushing against my bow like that. I gotta tell you, if Mike didn't have the camera on record, I don't know what we're gonna do, but we're not gonna fire him yet until the trip's over. But we're gonna load up our gear right now, head off to another spot and see if we can find another bull. That's all we can do. Good morning from on top of the mountain. We just slipped in here. We're up on top. All we're doing right now is listening to see if we can locate the elk. So right now, that's all we got time for because we literally just heard one. It can't be more than 300-400 yards away. So hopefully the next time you see me, we're calling one in. Okay, guys. We're set up and ready. Got about 45-yard shots in here. Well, that worked out perfectly. I mean, Doyle was off her left shoulder, calling perfectly, and gave us a nice shot at about 55 yards. It just wasn't big enough. Day 3, evening hunt. Hot. As you can tell, the sun's just beating down on us. We've got a wallow over here where we're gonna go sit in. There's some water. We're gonna get ourselves brushed in and hope that we can catch one coming out. We were chasing 2 earlier. They kind of went up and over and down in this saddle. So we're gonna slide in here and we're just gonna sit and wait them out. Hopefully one comes in tonight. Let's go. Bowhunt or die, guys. Welcome to, this is no Elk 101 setup. This is Elk like 302 setup. This is way beyond the basic elk hunt. Doyle's got this set up, I mean, in a dynamite spot, right in front of a couple wallows. We're gonna be, I mean, super tight quarters. The wind is doing what it needs to do. We built this little makeshift blind. It is going to be hand-to-hand combat. That's my favorite thing. So let's cross our fingers, and more importantly, let's just have fun. That's what bowhunting's all about. Well, the setup worked. We had that cow come right in. I mean, we just needed headgear on her, and it would have gotten crazy fast. I mean, it couldn't have been more than 20, 25 yards max. The setup was beautiful. Unfortunately, one bull did get downwind of us and went out the back, but that's hunting for you. Day 4, guys. Last night's sit was fun, but we gotta get back at it. We got a bull right over the edge here. It's getting warmer. They haven't been bugling as much, so let's cross our fingers and see what we can pull off. We seen three different bulls this morning. One off my left shoulder here, he disappeared and went totally quiet on us. We had 2 over here that they're going up to bed somewhere in this spot over here. It's tough. I mean, they're talking a little bit, but usually it's been around 8:30, and they usually been going completely quiet. We'll just have to wait to see what happens. That was an awesome experience. I mean, that bull came right in. Doyle did an awesome job. We decided to bail down here. Plan worked perfectly. That bull went totally silent on us, and all of a sudden, like a ghost, boom, just appeared right at the bottom here. We were able to coax him right on over here. I mean, I was close to shooting. I didn't have a shot right here. If he cleared that, I was like, okay, that's premium footage, but it didn't happen. It's a great bull, but it's all about the experience. All right, guys, day 4 here in Colorado. Last night we had a killer set down by some wallows. I mean, we are getting close and tight to these elk. A nice cow came out. Not the bull we were looking for. We could hear him back there, just wasn't ready to play. So hopefully tonight's gonna be the night. It's warm temperatures. We're hoping he's gonna come and cool off. Well, they say 2 times a charm, and that's what we're doing tonight. We're set up over just a gorgeous spot. I mean, we're surrounded by tons of bedding area, and all these wallows are in front of us. I mean, actually, they're surrounding us. We're giving up my left shoulder, but we're hoping they come out in front of us. Doyle's got us positioned right here. Mike's behind the camera. We're going for it. Oh. I even told myself, shoot right, shoot right. I blew it. And the arrow flew. Perfect. I was just like, honestly, 2 inches, 3 inches too far to the left. Well, I don't know what to say other than I completely botched the shot. I mean, it was not a good shot. I even kept reminding myself, don't shoot by the shoulder, I swear. What do I do? Shoot him right by the freaking shoulder blade. We reviewed the footage. We saw where he ran. We're just kind of developing a plan right now to figure out how we're going to look for my arrow. There's not much more I can say other than the fact that I didn't make a good shot. It's as simple as that. You know, obviously we're going to do our jobs and go recover whatever evidence we can recover. Do the best job tracking that we can do to see if there is even a blood trail. You know, all I can hope is that the Hellraiser maybe had some additional collateral damage and possibly killed him. If not, I ruined my Colorado Elk trip. It's simple as that. Well, that was a sleepless night for sure. You know, guys, I don't know what to say. I did the best I could do. The animal presented a fantastic shot, and I blew it. It's as simple as that. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat this thing at all. We've watched the footage over and over and over. We did the right thing last night. When in doubt, back out. Doyle's already trying to pick up the blood right now. So we're going to get in here, go to that tree that we marked, and see if we can find him. All we can hope for right now is that I cut something and I got in there deep enough to where he went up and bedded down in this draw. That's the best that we can hope for at this point. So let's, with a little bit of luck, hopefully we can find this bull.
It's usually not a good sign.
Well, my Colorado trip's over, guys. You know what? Unfortunately, I'm going to cut my tag. It is what it is. I had my chance. I made a shot. You know, after reviewing the footage, I clearly was too high and a little too far forward. If there's anything to learn from this, what I should have done after watching the footage is when I went to full draw, man, I just did not take the time to really sink in nice and tight and let that arrow fly as well as I wish I would have. That's what I see on the footage. It is what it is. We're over 2 miles into this right now. We haven't been able to find them. We've lost blood now for a half an hour. We've just been searching this hilltop, but it's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, especially when you're in country that you're not familiar with. So we're going to unfortunately call it quits. So that's all we can do. Bow hunt or die.
Okay, Justin, I'm fully prepared for whatever you have in store for me. So let's.
I got
do
nothing,
this.
man. I am not one to speak. I've been there myself all too
Justin
many
has
times.
nothing. This is complete. Before we started filming this, he had plenty to say. Now that the camera's rolling, there's a lot less coming out of your mouth.
Most of what I said when the cameras were off cannot be repeated when the cameras are on.
All right.
But what are you going to do, man? Sometimes this stuff happens, and it's bow hunting. I think, if anything, you try to learn, from your experiences. And, Todd, you're a great example. You've been bow hunting for a long time, shot a lot of animals, still making mistakes. It happens.
Man, I believe me, I just keep reflecting on this hunt. I mean, it was such a great time. I mean, no, I don't get to go out west that often. And I mean, being out there, I mean, they're huge. I mean, I mean, when you hear them, you hear a lot of them. You may see them in the distance, but when you finally get them right there, I mean, you're just like, oh my gosh, they're just monstrous. And the main
Which
reason
should make them easier to shoot, right?
that's horrible. I actually thought that way when I was practicing. Like, man, their kill zone is this big, and I still screw up. I mean, and that's exactly, I think, something that you cannot think, because I actually thought that a couple of times when I was practicing in my backyard. And more importantly, when you watch that second footage angle that we have, I mean, that's the part I think, Justin, that makes me more upset. I mean, believe it or not, at one point, I actually told Doyle and Mike, yeah, I took my time, I slid over, I stood up, and I shot. Then we rewatched the footage, I never even stood up. I was kneeling. I mean, and I guess that's elk fever, buck fever, call it whatever you want to call it. But I was so excited that that plan came together. And you watch that second angle footage, and Justin's or Brandon's going to play it for you. But you can just see I'm squeezing my grip way too hard, and literally I go to full draw, I get anchored, and I'm not even fully anchored. I just shoot. It's just like, those are guys.
You get excited, and your brain just goes into like warp speed, and you just kind of forget, everything that you should be doing, which is kind of one of those things is why we tell everybody that you need to practice so much, because when you get into the heat of that situation, you really want that muscle memory to take over, right? So, I mean, I know a couple guys personally that, and I'm sure we all know these types of people out there, that they grab their bow a week before the season, they fling 5-6 arrows, and they're like, yeah, man, my bow's dead on. I don't need to shoot anymore. My bow is dead on. And, it's not always about sighting in your bow, but it's about practicing, yourself, your form, conditioning yourself to when your brain is not fully functional, that you're going to be able to execute that shot. That's why, just that repetitiveness of shooting all the time really comes in handy. And Todd, you did shoot a lot, and, sometimes things happen. What are you going to do? It's bow hunting. You try your hardest to be prepared and to put yourself in an opportunity to make a shot. And sometimes we execute and sometimes we don't. Believe me, I've been there myself. So that's why I don't have a lot to say about this one other than, keep your head up, keep at it. Confidence is everything. It's whitetail season now.
First trophy doe I see, it's going to be bad. It's going to be a bad day. One other thing, though, Justin, I do want to point out, not to make this segment any longer than we need to, but one thing that did come up is we had some people out there on social media say, "Why is Todd elk hunting when the bow season's closed?" That obviously is something that did come up, and I mean, I don't know if you want to take it or I want to take it, but I mean...
Well, you know more than I do, so...
Well, I mean, I've just learned all this stuff myself, too, but where we were hunting was on a special ranch. There's multiple ranches that are enrolled in this program in the state of Colorado. It's called Ranching for Wildlife, and it basically is a great program that the Division of Colorado Wildlife has put together, and it basically allows these ranch owners that have lots of property basically follow kind of a different set of rules. So that was ultimately the reason why I was hunting.
That's why you're still allowed to bow hunt on those pieces of property when the general archery season for elk is closed in all the other places. So yeah, we did.
A couple people
a couple people on social media were like, "Hey, the season's closed, right?" But it wasn't closed everywhere. So speaking of whitetail season, guys, we got a pretty cool little whitetail hunt coming up here. We've got Dean with his son going out trying to get him his first deer up in Wisconsin. So let's take a look at that.
Hey everyone, it is opening day of Wisconsin deer season here, 2016, and we've got the truck all loaded up, and I made Karsten, my son, made him do most of the work as far as loading the truck up goes, because it's his first year of hunting. So we are going to go out and have a little fun, and he's been working hard with me this summer as far as checking trail cams and putting the blinds up and all that good stuff. So putting a little work in and see what we can get out of it. So come along with us tonight, and hopefully Karsten shoots his first deer. If not, we're gonna have some fun in the blind, and it's all part of hunting, and see how this season goes for us this year. All right, well, we made it to the blind, and like I said earlier, we're excited. You know, Karsten waited his whole life for this, so to be able to go deer hunting, and I guess I have too, to be able to experience it with your kids. It was quite the experience last year when I took Kylie. If any of you followers of the show seen the episode The Machine, where Kylie and I put 3 whitetails down, and her first one, her hunt was one of the best hunts of my life. So we're hoping to do the same thing here this year with Karsten, and have some luck and just have some fun doing it. So stick with us this season, and if we have any luck, we're gonna put something on the ground and Karsten's gonna get his first whitetail. Hey bud, Knuckles, let's do this. Well, it got dark on us in the blind there tonight, so we elected to do our interview here back at home in the garage here. So it was a good night, good first night for Karsten as far as deer hunting, and we had that one small doe come out, and he says, I want to wait for a big one, so I don't know where he gets that from at all, but it was fun. And then after a while, it went out about 35 yards or so. I was out there for about 20 minutes, and then he's like, well, maybe I should have shot it. And I'm like, well, I don't care. That's fine. If it comes in, you can shoot. I don't want to tell him what he can or can't shoot, you know, for his first deer. And unfortunately, I had the camera turned off, and that deer, after 20 minutes of being out in the field to our left, he couldn't shoot at it over there. It came running up to the blind, and it's 10 feet away looking at us right in the blind. And I couldn't move to get the camera on. And it was doing the old head bob thing, and we were trying to hold ourselves from laughing, and Karsten cracked up laughing, then I cracked up laughing, and then deer took off. So that would have been pretty neat to have that on video, but it just ran right up to the blind 10 feet away, and we got kind of caught there and couldn't even turn the camera on. So it was a fun night, and Karsten's learning right off the bat that, you know, it's hunting, not shooting, so we'll just have to try again another night. So stick with us this season, and hopefully we're going to get more opportunities coming up here in the future. Bow hunt or die.
Well, that was a pretty cool hunt, you know, the Dean had with his son. I saw how he was excited to get out there, first hunt of the year.
That's going to be used soon with 3 of them being able to bring out there.
One at a time, but yes, potentially someday. But it, you know, it's cool. Anytime you bring a kid out in the field, you know, you want them to see a deer. You know, I want to try to get my son out just to sit in a blind with me this year. He's 4, and I'm like, all right, where am I going to bring him? Because I want him to be able to
You just let him come with me.
see a deer. Well, yeah,
Then he'll see
we'll go
deer.
to the Graf Deer Farm, and we'll definitely see deer.
Yeah.
The rest of the spots I have, it's kind of hit or miss. But, you know, it was a cool hunt for Dean and his son. You know, hopefully he's able to, you know, put him on a deer here this fall. I'm sure he's going to, you know, work his tail off to get that done. You know, Todd.
They were close. I mean, they were
And
close,
I've been
but
there.
he chose to actually wait.
I've been there on the second guessing. You're like, I'm not going to shoot it. And then it walks away and you're like, I should have shot it. So
I've done that.
I understand what he's saying there. You know, before we get into the trophy photos this week, Todd, I know you wanted to answer some of the social media.
I got yelled at for having
requests
my
that we
phone
get.
on the desk. Let me find it here real quick.
You got to get your phone out. So Todd and I get a lot of messages, both through the bowhunting.com Facebook page, as well as our personal Facebook pages. So Todd wanted to take some time today to answer a few of those folks. I know the first question we're going to have is your trophy doe.
Well, no, let's start with the other one first. Let's start with Michael Hall. Michael starts off saying, hey, Todd, I'm a huge fan of Bowhunter Die, Justin.
He's watched every episode.
Was wondering how to get featured in an episode. I mean, I think we do like a really good job of explaining to people
People
how
just don't like listening to us.
Michael, I'm gonna tell you that you're gonna be on this episode. I'm gonna text you or whatever, instant message you back right now. But all you have to do is watch the end part of the show. We tell you exactly what to do.
Yeah, we tell you to email your photos to info@bowhunting.com, go to bowhunting.com and post them in the trophy gallery, or post them on our Facebook wall. And then Brandon, who's our editor, randomly selects photos each week from those 3 locations for us to use in the show. A lot of guys always message us and they say, Todd, Justin, hey, here's my picture, put it in the show. But it doesn't always work that way. Brandon is the guy who's in charge of selecting the photos.
All right, next one's Nick Miller. I like this one. This is a good one. Hey, Todd, hope your season's going well. I need help settling a dispute between my friends and I. Trophy doe or not. So we're going to get this photo to Brandon. Brandon can look at the photo. I had Nick go ahead and send me some additional photos of this trophy doe.
Is this a trophy doe? That's what he wants to know.
I said, looks good to me. I would call that a trophy doe. And we'll put the photos up
Well,
so you decide.
let's just wait here a second, because when I asked you about it, you said it's only a trophy doe if she doesn't have any fawns and she doesn't have any.
I don't see any fawns
That's
in this
what you-
picture. They didn't shoot
Well, the
fawn
deer
early.
is dead, so of course the fawns aren't going to be around there. So the question for Nick, before you answered him, was did she have any fawns with her? Because apparently in Todd's world of
A dry doe.
Mr. High Horse.
No, I'd like
once
to get
again.
those big.
What if she's
does-
big and she has 2 button bucks with her?
I'm gonna let her walk
Why?
because because I set my own rules. I get to set my own rules. You get to
Is
set
there
your
a
own
reason
rules.
for that rule? Does it have a
Yeah,
reason?
it's because they're usually the smarter ones. All right, next. They are. You pay attention.
So there is
Watch.
no reason. All right.
Next one though. This is a little bit serious of a note here. Next one here. Okay, this one here is from Tyler McLean. Luckily, all these guys at least had easy names to read here. Huge fan of the show. I've been watching you guys since 2010. And Todd, I have a question. So I bought a Spitfire double cross this year and noticed the top 2 blades don't drop down like the kill zones.
Is that normal? And then he goes on to say, the top blades seem to open easily. I'm worried about them opening in flight. So we're going to answer, what's his name? Tyler, you said?
Yeah, Tyler.
We just so happen to have a couple broadheads
Well, we
sitting
kind of-
around the office here. Okay, so the first one we're going to take a look at is the kill zone, right? So most of you guys are familiar with this broadhead.
Seen it for years.
When the blade's open, he's right. The center pivot of the blade actually slides back down in the ferrule, slams those blades open, and you've got that 2-inch cutting diameter. So then we're going to take a look at the new Spitfire double cross. The double cross is very similar to a broadhead that NAP came out with last year called the sling blade, right? So the center pivot of your blade actually doesn't move. So when it impacts the animal, the blades simply just open up, right? By just the sheer force of hitting the animal, it's going to hit right on these tabs. It's going to open up your primary blades first, and then once it starts going in the animal, it's going to open up your secondary blades. So you've got an 1 7/8 cut on the primary and an 1 1/8 cut on the secondary. So that is absolutely how this broadhead is intended to work. As far as the second part of his question about, hey, there's nothing that holds the broadheads closed, right? A lot of people are used to, I don't know, a rubber band or a collar or some sort of clip in there that's actually holding the blades closed. This broadhead is designed to actually stay closed in flight by the sheer design of the head. So when you shoot this broadhead, there's more mass on the back side of this blade than there is on the front side. So the inertia of your arrow moving forward actually forces these blades closed. So you don't have to worry about the broadhead opening in flight. It was actually designed that way and tested and proven to not open in flight. It will not open until you actually impact your target, at which point
But
you've got a
you gotta hit that
monster.
target though first.
You got to hit the target in the right spot, mind you, in order for it to work. So that is the difference between the kill zone and the Spitfire double cross, for those of you who are wondering.
All right. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into trophy photos.
Aaron Lusch Vandenboer,
Dylan Wade Sewell,
Jerry Miller,
Patrick Engel.
and Rachel Robert.
Congratulations, guys. Those are some great trophies. If you'd like to see yourself right here on an episode of Bowhunt or Die, of course, you can always instant message me personally. Justin,
Todd
let's
will
get-
guarantee that you get him in the show that way.
I don't know about that, but we'll definitely make sure that they get in Brandon's hands, and he ultimately ends up choosing who gets in the show and who doesn't get in the
I
show.
like to pass the responsibilities to somebody else.
But
It's kinda
more-
nice.
but
that way
remember-
we can't be blamed for it.
That's delegation. Remember, if you do want to see yourself here, seriously, it's info@bowhunting.com. With that being said, guys, Justin, talk to me. What do we got?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, we got a cold front finally. I mean, it's not quite as cold as I'd like to see, but man, it's going to be almost 80 degrees here today in Illinois, and tomorrow they're looking at like 60 degrees. So, I mean, almost a 20-degree drop in temperatures should hopefully get some of these deer on their feet, some of these bigger deer anyways, on their feet during daylight hours. And for those of you in Illinois or Wisconsin, just a friendly reminder, it is youth firearm season this weekend, so make sure you wear your blaze orange. For those of you in Illinois, it actually starts on Saturday and runs through Monday. They changed that. It used to be Friday through Sunday. They flipped the Friday and the Monday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday is youth season in Illinois. Make sure you have your blaze orange on if you're out there bow hunting. Make sure you're safe. That's all I got.
I think that's all I've got too. I guess for those of you who are down south, and I know your seasons are open, so make sure, hopefully you guys survive this hurricane that's coming. I mean, definitely looks like a pretty big one for sure. I'd definitely wear my hunter safety system in those winds, or maybe stay in.
I would probably opt to stay in during the hurricane and not hunt. But everybody down south, stay safe, and I guess we'll see you guys next week right here on Bowhunt or Die.
For more exciting action, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and receive live updates from our team members as well as the latest happenings in the bow hunting and archery world. Be sure to share your photos, stories, and experiences as well. And don't forget to pick up your official bowhunting.com and Bowhunt or Die gear by visiting bowhunting.com/gear. We have a full selection of hats, shirts, decals, wristbands, and much more.
Anyways, and these other ones are at night.
That doesn't matter.
What do you mean it doesn't matter? That's nighttime movement. That's what constitutes it's been slow.
I have $5 during daytime. Action. Go on, rip me, Justin.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that again. At least it wasn't a button elk.